Let's say you have a customer success team and you would like to receive a daily recap of their shift. Today I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to be able to automate this using Zenphi. First, you're going to select your trigger. We're going to be using a timer trigger, which is going to allow you to start the flow at a scheduled or recurring time. You can choose to start the flow, let's say, when their shift ends. Once you've selected what time and what day you want it to start, you can also choose how often you want it to run. You can choose if you want it to run once or if you want it to run every day, every week, every month. It depends on your use case. Then what we're going to do is add our handy request data action. This not only allows you to be able to send a form for them to be able to complete, you can also set up reminders and expiry, ensuring that everything is up to date as soon as possible. Here in the form builder, you're able to add questions, so you can add something like the shift if they're covering the morning or the afternoon. You can add a field to be able to indicate what support tickets they assisted with. You can add as many fields as possible. Our Zenphi form is very similar to a Google form, so if you know how to use a Google form, you can easily add new fields, choose the type if you want it to be a drop-down, a checkbox. Once you complete the form, you can choose the recipients. Here you have to indicate them in a comma-separated list. So if you have multiple people that should be receiving this form, you can add them all here. You have the ability to choose if you want to complete the task when the first person responds, which would be your option if there's only one recipient. However, if you have multiple engineers, let's say, that should be filling out the form, you can choose when everyone responds, a specified number respond, and down at the bottom you're able to choose reminders or expiry. If you want to be able to send a reminder after a certain number of minutes, hours, days, you can do that to make sure they actually fill out the information. Feel free to add as many reminders as you want, and you can also set up the expiry. You can toggle this to choose when you want the task to expire. So if this is a daily recap, you essentially want it to expire the next day. That way all of the information submitted is actually up to date. Once you have that, all you need to do is change the emails. You can set up your connection here, which will be the email sending out that notification email that they need to submit the form. You can edit the subject, the body, and you would do the same for the reminder email and the expiry email. Now from here you can decide what should happen after they submit their form. So you can choose if you want to send an email to someone, if you want to notify them. You can use a Google chat message, for example. You can also send a text message using Twilio. We have different tools that you can use to ensure that whoever needs to be notified is actually notified. So here I'm going to use Google Chat. You can select your connection. You can choose who should be notified. So let's say Bob at test.zenphi.com. We can say we have information here. So for example, submitted by would be the email, has submitted their form response. And here we're able to use a token picker, the chain icon, to also access their response. So this would be the shift, support ticket. So if in the message you want to add, for example, shift covered, tickets assisted with, and you can add more questions depending on how many are on your form. If you prefer to maybe generate a Google Doc with the information so it stays there in your Google Drive and then send the message, you can also do that. That's a great thing about Zenphi. You can customize it to make sure it actually fits your process. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments section and we'll try to help you as soon as possible.